So Christopher may find some new romance this year with Heather. Can you talk about their relationship?
Christopher definitely finds a new romance. Cool thing about my storyline this season is that it really takes a left turn. A lot of reporters have been asking me, is there a serious power vacuum with the absence of JR? And not really for Christopher. You know, Christopher's kind of exploring something totally different. He's sort of licking his wounds from the past 2 seasons. I mean, it's just failed relationship after failed relationship for Christopher. So, you know, when he unexpectedly meets this sassy, kind of beautiful ranch hand, he just dives in head first. You know, and she has a bit of baggage, if you will. You know, she has a turbulent relationship with an ex-husband who has a bit of a alcohol problem, and she also has a son. You know, and I think Christopher's relationship with her son helps him really deal with some of his, you know, own inner issues, his, you know, feelings of abandonment and everything that he's been through in the first 2 seasons.
Now, Christopher's father also once dated a woman who had a small child. Did the two of them talk about that at all?
We talk about the relationship a bit, yeah. Yeah, we do, actually. Yeah, I sort of... He helps me, you know, it becomes a bit of a contentious situation, a bit of a contentious love triangle with, you know, the ex-husband and Heather and Christopher, and Bobby's there to lend a helping hand and give guidance, for sure.
His ethical compass, do you feel in the 3-year journey that you've had with him, is he, as you go into this 3rd year, is he the man he was at the beginning, or is he still trying to find a place?
He's not the man he was in the beginning. I think he's definitely found himself a lot more and found a much stronger sense of confidence in his position in the family. I love the character, and I think the reason why I like the character so much is I feel like his storyline is very grounded, it's very human, and for me, that's something that it's easy for me to buy into, as opposed to a heightened reality or this heightened persona of what a character should be. You know, I feel like I get a lot of really human, emotional moments, and Christopher's definitely grown. You know, he's not the whiny, you know, temperamental guy that he was, especially in season 1. For at least half of season 2, I think he's really sunk into himself. He's, you know, servicing the family much more than I think he was in the first 2 seasons, and I think that he's also learned a lot from this new relationship. So once that relationship runs its course, you know, he definitely emerges as someone who has a better understanding of the family dynamic and really tries to heal these situations as opposed to adding fuel to fires.
Do you think these boys are unalterably their father's sons, in the sense that Christopher is his inescapable DNA says he's a good guy, in the same way that John Ross's inescapable DNA will always make him a bad guy?
You know, they have 2 different sets of life experiences, don't they? I mean, the thing is I don't really look at John Ross as a bad guy, as all bad, and I don't look at Christopher as all good. You know, funny enough is that I kind of look at Christopher and John Ross as 2 sides of the same coin, because they were really, you know, raised by the same family. You know, it's not that JR's DNA may have been passed on to John Ross, but John Ross was just as much raised by Bobby as Christopher was. You know, so I think it's about choices. You know, and I think these 2 characters, much like Bobby and JR, you know, it's not just black and white. There's a lot of gray area within these men. You know, they both have consciences, you know, but obviously Christopher's sense of duty and Christopher's sense of morality seems to win out, you know, much more so than John Ross's.
You get a huge amount of Twitter feedback from fans and viewers, and we know that there's a hashtag Slap John Ross Twitter going around.
Oh, is there?
But apparently so.
Oh, okay.
But what sort of feedback do you get? I mean, do you get sympathy? Do you get people, you know, offering to give you less of a failed relationship?
Sympathy. I mean, they've really tried to drum up this sense of competition, haven't they? And I mean, a lot of people, you're either a John Ross guy or you're a Christopher guy, and I think we're both very suited to play these characters, and I think, because, being that there's such a debate, over who people prefer, I mean, it must mean that we're both servicing these characters very well. I have a lot of fun on social media and on Twitter. I love to hear people's reactions to the character, to the show, to the storylines. To me personally, I think it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to connect to your fans, and I mean, in this day and age, it's a great way to, promote a series.
Does Christopher growing the beard symbolize anything, and how did he grow it in 12 hours?
12 hours?
It says 12 hours later in the premiere.
No. 12 hours later? No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's about 2 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks later. He's been trying to get a hold of Elena, and she's been gone. Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely not 12 hours. But yeah, no, it certainly kind of symbolizes, much like in the original series, how Bobby would sort of turn into himself and go back to the ranch and the land and his roots. Christopher's doing the same thing. When we first see Christopher, he's got the beard, he's out on South Fork Ranch, he's splitting wood, he's doing manly stuff, he's coping, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely a symbol of what he's going through, maybe an exterior armor that he puts on to, try to deal with the pain that he's feeling.
Does he have any hesitancy in bringing Heather into the Ewing lifestyle? Because it's kind of toxic once you come into that family.
She has her own baggage, so she's no stranger to toxicity. It doesn't really get that far, I mean, this is like something that Christopher is experiencing and enjoying, and it's a journey outside of what's going on with the family, and that's why I said that, Christopher's not really partaking in the power vacuum that is going on in the absence of Larry Hagman yet this season. Everything really crescendos in the last 4 episodes. Tensions certainly get much higher. It seems to be the roller coaster ride that we take you on every season. But the first 2/3 of the season, Christopher's on this, romantic journey of, healing and still like learning about what kind of man he is.
1 or 2 more questions.
This it's obviously this show is an ensemble, but at the heart of it, I think, very much like the original Dallas, there's a Cain and Abel like relationship between originally 2 brothers, but here 2 cousins who are as brothers. Do you think that's why culturally it's so powerful still as a program? Does it tap something really primal in the sense that at the heart of this story is something biblical, something that kind of attacks our human DNA in a really visceral way?
Yeah, I mean, I love that biblical comparison, and I definitely think you're right. And it kind of brings me back to that comment about John Ross and Christopher being 2 sides of the same coin. But I think it's more about the interpersonal relationships of this affluent, dysfunctional family that is so juicy for people to watch because it's fantasy driven, but at the same time relatable. So it's the combination of those 2 things. I mean, people tune into television shows and watch films because it's escapism. So we have that escapism, but it's also very relatable.
How do you feel Christopher has coped with the whole thing of not finding Pam last year? Has he dealt with it completely?
Is that something that you ever really deal with completely?
Do you think a lot of television programs now, I think, talk about the end game in the sense that shows don't just end. I think writers construct very long arcs that take us to the end of the story. If I look at Cain and Abel, they ultimately one of them had to die. Do you feel for these 2 boys at the end of Dallas, part of that has to be a happy ending? Do you think that they will make their peace in the end?
Maybe we'll both die. That'd be exciting.
Who wants a happy ending in television? I mean, seriously.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you got it.